Talk to just about any local small business retailer and they'll tell you that cash flow is tight. They don't have enough money to do what they want to do in their business. The thing is, all of us in business, and I say this as a retailer myself, all of us in business are responsible for our own cash flow situation. Our decisions have placed us in this situation, decisions about loans we may have taken out or about stock we've bought that hasn't worked or about how we promote our businesses. We're responsible for our cash flow challenges. And it's easy to say, it's the economy or it's this or whatever. That passes the buck in a way that possibly isn't helpful for us addressing it. So I just want to take a moment, just a real short moment, and talk about how to improve cash flow in your retail business. Now, I'm not an accountant and I'm not providing any financial advice here. But what I am talking about is things that I've seen work, things that I've seen work in my own retail businesses, things that I've seen work in retail businesses connected to my point of sale software company. Tower System serves over 3,500 retailers around Australia and New Zealand. So we have a lot of experience working with a lot of different retailers. And I think addressing or resolving or turning around a cash flow challenge situation is something that any retailer can do. And so I just want to share the top, say, 3 or 4 things that I've seen work and work very, very quickly. And they may feel a bit tiresome, a bit repetitive. The thing is, these are things that work. And the first is to address the issue of dead stock. There is dead stock in pretty much every retail business that I look at today. Dead stock is stock that's not selling. Typically you brought it in, you've paid for it, and it's sitting on the shelf or sitting in a back room or a storeroom or whatever. It's stock that's not earning you money. It's not stock that's not converting to cash. So starts with understanding that. Use your point of sale software to see what stock is dead and then figure out what you can do to turn that into cash. Typically, it's going to be either discounting it or promoting it in some way at some sort of cost to the business. The thing is, if it's stock you've paid for, and let's say it's stock that's been there for 6 months, you might have paid for it 4 months ago. So any money you get for that dead stock today is kind of free money. It's coming to the business. It's cash flow positive for the business, even though you may lose on it. And that's where a lot of small business retailers really do their head in, because they say, hey, I bought that item for $100. I was going to sell it for $220. And it hasn't sold in 6 months, so I can't sell it for less than $100. Well, the thing is, if you sell it for $50, you're freeing up $50 worth of cash flow to the business today, even though, yes, you did pay $100 for it. But $50 for the item is better than getting nothing for it and having it on the shelf for another 6 months. So understanding what stock's dead and then converting that dead stock to cash. I've seen that free $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in local small business retail settings. That's the single most important thing that you could do to free cash flow within the business. The next thing that I would do is to seriously, very authentically and in a data-driven way, trim the costs of the business. Look at your labor costs, look at other business overheads, and where can you trim? I had a situation recently where there was a service that I was using, and this particular service, their costs had been going up every year for the last 5 or 6 years. And I said to them, look, I just don't think I can continue with this anymore. And they said straight away, literally in response to that first contact with them, would you like 30% off? I didn't even ask for a discount and they gave me 30% off. So that was kind of pretty cool. I was pretty excited by that. And it came about simply by saying to them, look, I don't think I can afford your services anymore. So look at your overheads and see what opportunities you've got. And by doing that, I'm not talking about spending days or weeks doing it. I'm saying spend a couple of hours, have a quick look at your overheads and see what low-hanging fruit opportunities you've got there. A third thing that I would do would be that I'd look for opportunities for popular items in the shop where I can just very, very slightly creep the sell price up just a little bit. Let's say you've got your top 200 items and you're able to increase the sell price of those items if they're not price controlled. If you can increase the price of those items by, say, 1%, and if they're the top 200 items that you sell within your business, that small increase can improve your cash flow situation. And the fourth thing that I'd mention in terms of addressing cash flow within your business is to, and it's kind of a weird one, but I find it works in a lot of situations. Look at your sales counter. Go out, stand where your customers would stand and look at your sales counter. And seriously look at your sales counter and look at it in the context of what your sales counter is doing to grow your business, to get customers buying more items on impulse at the counter. Look at it completely from the back wall to the countertop to in front of the counter. What moves is the counter making? What pitches is the counter making to encourage shoppers to add more items to their basket? And anything that's not doing that, that's not essential at the counter, remove it and make your counter a more successful place within the business. I was working with a retailer probably 4 or 5 months ago now, and we went through this process at their counter. Literally took off all of the products that they had at the counter, replaced them with products that had never been at the counter, and they will tell you today, if I gave you their details, how excited they are by the value add they're getting. And they were in that first few weeks, they were in a situation where 25% of customers coming to the counter added items to their purchases based on what they saw at the counter. And it's a small move. It's a really simple, basic thing to do. And you would think that's not going to save my business. But the reality is, even if you get 10% of your shoppers adding extra items to the basket based on what you put at the counter, that improves your cash flow situation. Anything you can do to convert the stock you have in your shop into cash is important from a cash flow positive perspective. So what I would go back and say is get rid of your dead stock. Trim your overheads, very much trim your overheads. Where you can, charge a little bit more. And then finally, the simple one, the easy one, the one you'll think is going to work the least, reinvent your counter, turn your counter into a machine. I know that cash flow challenges can be debilitating. They can really challenge your mental health. They can really upset the dynamic of the business. They can also impact family life. Cash flow challenges are challenges to be met, and that meeting them starts with understanding them and then every day doing something to improve the situation. I haven't seen a retail business yet where they can't take steps immediately, like literally within minutes, to start to improve their cash flow situation. Complaining about it or worrying about it doesn't do anything to address it at all, whatsoever. But taking a step, even a small step, a simple step, like readjusting the counter or getting rid of or quitting dead stock, a simple step like either of those two things can be the step you need, the encouragement you need to address cash flow. Here at Tower Systems, one of our things that we do is help small business retailers understand their situation. And understanding is very much looking at the business data. We will do anything possible to help any of our customers improve their situation. So if you're finding cash flow tight and you happen to be a Tower customer, reach out to us. You can contact us at sales@towersystems.com.au or support@towersystems.com.au. My name's Mark Fletcher. I'm the owner of the company. My mobile number is 0418 321 338. Our goal is to help small business retailers thrive, help local retailers thrive. We only sell our software to small business retailers. We want to see them be strong and viable. We want to see them have good cash flow. And so the idea of the video today is to encourage you to say to any retailer in any setting, you have it within yourself to address your cash flow situations. We'd love to help. And if you want that help, then reach out to us. If not, then please take on these ideas and other ideas of your own and turn around your situation. Because right now, worrying about cash flow is not going to help you at all. Hopefully the video has been helpful. Thank you.